Welcome, Sindhu. Welcome to the Growthplaybook podcast.
Hey, Himanshu, hi.
Hi, how you been?
All good, all good. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Before we start any conversation on creator economy, startups, and marketing, Sindhu, let's talk about you a bit. Tell us something about yourself. Where were you from? What kind of kid were you, and what has been growing up like for you?
A long story short, I'm from a city called Cuttack in Orissa. I was born and brought up there. Spent somewhat around, I guess, 19 years, 20 years there. I was a science student till 10th. And then 11th में औकात पता चल गई that science in 10th, science in 11th is very, very different. Math in 10th, math in 11th is very different. Also I failed in math. Just letting everyone know. So did that and then got a clarity. I want to be an astronaut for a long time, and was just interested in cosmology, astrophysics. If I now look back, I don't think I was interested in the subject. I was interested in the sci-fi. There's a big difference between both of them. Mm-hmm. So I just dropped that idea, and then I used to draw and sketch during my childhood. So in 12th, I decided that okay, let me go to game design. I saw one ad on MTV. Roadies ke beach mein aata tha. The college was called DSK Supinfocum.
I remember that shit.
I guess it was a French company
it was a
game in India.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was an introvert. हमारे शहर में internet penetration was not that high. There used to be dial-up connection. Phone के अंदर charge लगा के करते थे and everything. तो वो इंटरनेट का एक्सेस नहीं था, तो टीवी में देखा. सो आई वाज लाइक ओके, लेट्स डू दिस शिट. आई स्टार्ट लर्निंग ऑटोमोटिव डिजाइन एंड एवरीथिंग. आई जस्ट गॉट अ ड्राइंग टीचर हु यूज्ड टू टीच मी कि एनिमेशंस एंड एवरीथिंग कैसे करते हैं. नाउ एक साल बाद मुझे रियलाइजेशन आया दैट आई हैव टू कॉल द कॉलेज एंड आस्क फॉर कि ओके व्हाट इज द एडमिशन फी. I just don't know. Now when I feel I was like shit, I should have asked that first.
Yeah.
Not after 1 year. And they told me it will be 22 lakhs for 3 years. And I was like, because no one is going to give you loans for a design course.
Yeah. And back then it was even more difficult.
Oh, a lot. Yeah. This is 2000. I'm a 2012 pass out. So उस time की बात है. It was a lot of money. And from someone who is from a tier 3 city is like, घर वर बेचना पड़ेगा.
Absolutely.
So I was like, drop this idea. I got into music. So for 3-4 years, I was working with a record label.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. I was learning sound engineering with a sound engineer, just for the sake of it, just for the passion.
Sweet.
And learn mixing, learned mastering. Then with time, lyrics writing develop ho gaya. Then with time, composition develop ho gaya. And that's where the Kida of media happened. And then I did MBA. Then my first job was being in the founding team with 2 other people who were building a startup, and they were building a social networking app. This is 2016, and that was my first job. I joined them, did everything. I was a generalist, did everything, built the marketing team, business development, creative team, and everything.
What was the startup about?
So it was called Together. The app worked like this. You join the app, it asks you sub-interest. So you have music, and in music there are multiple sub-interests, like let's say hip hop.
Right.
Now and this is 2016, and back in those time there used to be centralized social network. So Facebook is a centralized social network that you post your content.
Yeah.
Your content kisko distribute hoga is decided by a centralized algorithm.
Right.
It's not geolocated. Like it is not like okay, if you post, then only your circular people around you can only see it. But your dating apps are geolocated based social networks. If you have to put in one line dating apps, then dating apps are actually geolocated, decentralized social networks in very simple terms. So on Facebook, you can connect with anyone in US.
That's oversimplification, Sindhu.
Yeah,
about dating apps.
It is actually true. So social networking ka use case is dating. Dating ka use case is social networking.
Right.
And what we were trying to solve is if a musician who is living, I'm right now in HSR layout. If I'm living in HSR layout, what is the right thing for me to actually network with people is to meet musicians who are nearby.
Right.
So if I join if I can, and the only thing I will see on my newsfeed is musicians nearby. And what we do is we can do something called as a micro event. That
Okay.
I can create a micro event called as like, okay, this Sunday I'm jamming. Anyone interested? Then other people will see that post. They will try to send me an invite.
Okay.
If I say yes, then those people can come. A chat box will open up. So yes. So if you are a musician, you can find other musicians who are nearby. You can create a micro event, and then when other people will request you to join the micro event, you can host that particular event, and you can do. So this is a decentralized social networking attempt that we were doing on the basis of interest. That's all. Very, very new concept in India. It was very hard to make people understand.
Right.
So what we started seeing is the major adaptation of creators who will be creating this particular thing was happening in US and UK. So a lot of MAUs and DAUs, a lot of users were happening from that zone. And our biggest struggle was, okay, how do we make it successful in India? It was a big, tough time. Trust me, it was a big, tough time we figured out. And we pivoted the model, actually. After 9 months, we pivoted the model we were building something like, if anyone has heard of Airbnb experiences,
right,
then you will know ki, okay, the model is very simple. If you are an expat going to Delhi and aapko local activities kuch karne hain,
right,
then you find amazing experience like, okay, there is a chai wala who will show you around
right,
Delhi ka culture and everything.
correct,
There will be an Adivasi culture showing around and everything.
right.
We were building that as a second pivot. That was a big hit.
Interesting.
So हमारी events Delhi में थे, मुंबई में थे. मुंबई में कुछ interesting events like, if you have to propose your fiance, there was a helicopter proposal that you can do.
Sweet.
You can book a helicopter for 1 hour. It will ask you, I guess, 12,000, 15,000, and you can just propose on the helicopter.
Beautiful.
Then there was a night cycling and storytelling event. So where there is a storyteller, जो तो साइकिल के ऊपर ग्रुप में ले लेके आपको पूरा मुंबई घुमा के they will tell you a story. So there were a lot of those events. That was my first thing. And then I moved to PayTm Insider. Did music festivals marketing for.
This was which year when you moved to PayTm?
PayTm, I moved 2018, mid 2018.
Okay.
Stayed there for 1 year, 3 months kind of. Did a lot of things. Like I did a lot of things for a lot of creators. Majorly did with music creators, did with the comedy circle of your Zakir Khan, your Rohan Joshi and everything.
Oh, it was that time, yeah.
Yeah, it was that time. And so हमारा office AIB के office के ऊपर था.
Okay.
So it was the same building.
Okay.
And नीचे AIB के office बैठती थी, and then we were sitting on the top. So
this was which part of Bangalore you're talking about?
This is Mumbai.
Okay, this is Mumbai.
This
okay.
is Mumbai. Yeah.
So AIB's office is in Mumbai. Yeah.
I was in Mumbai for 4 years. Like I moved to Bangalore 8 months back. So I did that for a long time. My last stint was I spent 4 months in movies marketing. My last project was Avengers promotion. I was working with Disney on that particular project and so I left that. I got a message on Angel List from Anirudh Pandita, who is the CEO of Pocket Aces.
Okay.
And he told me simple that let's catch up for a coffee. That's all. There was no opening. We went to Pali Village Cafe. It's Pali Village Road, I guess. And he just told me a simple thing that, hey man, if growth team can exist in product companies, why it can't exist in creator companies? That was the first question. Second question, can we build data analytics driven decision in creator economy and in artistic fields?
Right.
And the third question was, if you have to join as a growth leader, first growth leader, what would you do? And what if you have, so I ended up joining them. I was the first growth person there. I was handling growth for Filter Copy, Dice Media, Gobble. Right. And then we launched 2 new channels, and out of which one channel is huge. It's called Nutshell.
Okay.
Nutshell is huge on Instagram. It's what 100K right now followers.
Tell me more about Nutshell. What is Nutshell?
Nutshell came with this idea that you have, if anyone wants to check out infotainment, then on TV you have Discovery.
Right.
Majorly. And Discovery has actually killed it in India. What Discovery did is Discovery started with your animals and biology content, then suddenly moved towards taking Manish Paul and creating science and comedy based content.
Yeah.
Which was a big game changer because they found कि okay ठीक है किसी को अगर science सीखनी है ना तो हमें comedy घुसाना पड़ेगा.
Right.
And that's where the evolution of infotainment happened and Discovery taught
to make it more interesting rather.
Right. Yeah. And all of the things that everyone is doing on Instagram right now around the infotainment genre, Discovery has killed it, and Discovery is the one who showed us the path that entertainment and infotainment information can be married together.
Right.
So, and on YouTube, the killing channels were Vox. Vox is one channel who takes pretty interesting topics like why does a car makes a certain sound? Okay. Why does motorcycle goes vroom vroom and not zoom zoom? Wow. And they make a full video around that, and the week thesis that okay, in India, why there is no Hindi channel around that?
Yeah, these are very absurd concepts if you think about it, right? Like why would if you see Indian creators, the only thing that, the entire TikTok revolution and Instagram Reels revolution all started from dancing on random videos and all that, right? That's what we are more limited to.
True.
By and large, but I think now the paradigm is shifting where the infotainment has taken a front street. You see a lot of financial creators and infotainment creators creating content which is more informative in nature.
Right. No, last 2 years has been damn good. The infotainment as a category, if you just put it on an Excel sheet, the number of channels that has opened up, I would have never thought that this category is going to be this big. Which means it's a good sign that okay, people are now slightly more interested in smarter content and not just dance India dance 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 10 12. Right. Because the content industry was very very dominated by dancing, singing, and then your Khatron Ke Khiladi adventure kind of stuff, and then this stuff. What was a big learning is finance, personal finance. People interested in personal finance. The category has become like huge. But again, jumping to that part, so the idea was okay. Let's build a Hindi channel for infotainment.
Yeah,
how Nutshell started, and I was fortunate. That is the only channel I can claim I grew from zero, from scratch, and there were a ton of learnings. We got Andre Borges. Andre Borges was the face of BuzzFeed.
Yeah.
So he was leading the content piece. He's still now leading the content piece, I guess. I'm not sure.
He used to be a big shot back then, right? Like I remember when I got onto Instagram, which was like long back. I'm talking about probably 2012 or 13. Before that, I was just using Facebook and because more time wahi tha. So Andre Borges, I think, used to be a big shot, and there were like a couple of other BuzzFeed guys who got really popular when BuzzFeed came to India, and then they started creating content.
Right. There were four. I remember just faint memory. There was Andre. There was another guy I don't remember, and there were some women, and then people left and built their individual careers.
Yeah.
Andre on Instagram, I guess, talks a lot about political stuff and everything. He's huge on Instagram right now, but these were big stars on YouTube that you would want to meet.
Yeah, so I think similar thing happened with iDiva as well. A lot of iDiva times internet creators started with iDiva, and then they quit iDiva and started their own personal brands, and now look at them what they're doing.
That's the biggest challenge for a creator company. What happens is, obviously we can talk about it on a larger discussion later, but the shorter conversation is basically this, that it's always a big tension in the CEO's mind. That, okay, I am spending a huge amount of money on a particular in-house creator to nurture and to grow. I'm making the face. What if he leaves? Obviously, he or she will leave someday.
Yeah.
Because what happens is after 1 year, the creator feels ki, "Arey yaar, I can make more money if I just leave."
Absolutely.
Because you are bounded by clause and everything. But the problem is if you leave, what happens is you are on the advantage of the last 1 year money that has been spent on you, and no one is asking you, okay, return my money back or something.
Yeah.
But if you leave, you are taking the distribution with you.
Yeah.
Then as a company, as a CEO, I have to again figure out ki, okay, this creator took away 1 million. How do I cover this up? Where do I get this again 1 million from? So that's a big problematic thing that every company faces.
Right.
You call it Times Internet, you call it Pocket Aces, TVF, and everyone faces the same thing.
Right. The other side of the same coin, the flip side of the same coin is most of the startups and companies these days are trying to hire content creators, already well-established content creators. But when soon they reach out to these content creators, the content creators are not interested, because when they start talking about the obligations, about the contracts, right, they don't want to, because once you've tasted freedom as a content creator and once you've reached to that scale and distribution, then you don't want to get stuck with one organization for a long time. What is your take on that, Sindhu?
No, it's same. I think it depends on which scale of content creator you are. So, for an example, creator like a Flying Beast knows for a fact, and every content creator must understand. They must have a Google Doc or something that, okay, what does the brand stand for, and then do a basic brand analysis to understand okay, what are the brands that they can reach out, or what are the brands can reach out to them. So for an example, if you are just talking about finance, it's only top 6 to 7 brands that can reach out to you. One. Second, who are these top 6 to 7 brands? These are not Motilal Oswal or biggies. These are VC startups. Then you better be sure that these startups will only pay you until and unless they are funded.
Correct.
Now, since the recession is hitting, that particular piece of cake is going down, obviously. Now what happens is you don't have a lot of things to say. Now let's say if everyone is gone, if a brand reaches out to you and say, okay, I have this clause, you will say, okay, I have to do it because there is no other way. But for example, if anyone is into fashion lifestyle, they have a bigger gamut. The whole D2C segment is theirs. The whole FMCG segment is theirs.
Right.
Now, they can say no to a lot of things.
Yeah.
So it is true, but it depends on which area you are playing. Are there enough players who will fund you if you say no? Because it's a very small community. If you say no to one brand, that brand manager says to another brand manager, "Ki, "Arey yaar, ye to yahan pe no bolta hai," and everything. And they just slightly do the bad mouthing because it's people's business.
Correct. So, word of mouth spreads very fast.
Correct. And we all know very, very well that every time a marketer has to do, because there is a lot of money. It's not performance marketing that I can test you with 5,000 rupees. If it works, I will do it. If a Flying Beast asks for 15 lakhs, 20 lakhs, then better I have a reasoning behind it. Okay, 15 lakhs I'm paying. So 15 lakhs ka outcome kya niklega?
Correct.
And then I have to be double sure. I can't just make my money go wrong there.
Right.
Hence, it depends on the whole area you are playing, which kind of creator you are.
Right. But this actually takes me to the next part of what I wanted to discuss, which is creators becoming founders. Wanting to discuss about the journey of Physikwala. That guy has grown tremendously.
I love that guy. I love that
last couple of years. I've been following his content, although I'm not exactly a TG of that content, but of that guy. But I've been following his content just to consume, how does he teach? What is his style of teaching? And he has a very peculiar style of teaching, physics and the concepts. Similarly with, Nas Telly, right? The very phenomenal story about how he started his YouTube channel, scale it to the level where he is at today, and then started his own business where he's now selling courses on how to become a YouTuber or how to, edit videos, so and so forth. Right. So let's just talk about that a little. Where do you think, what is this dynamic of creators becoming founders and vice versa, founders becoming creators? We'll also talk about Ankur Warikoo, right, who started
Best
nearby
example.
and best example in the Indian creator economy space, and now he's doing so good as
I look at this from a slightly different perspective. One is I'm very bullish. So recently I have been doing a lot of tests, and I'm talking to a lot of content creators to understand. Okay, let me tell you some stories. I met one finance creator, huge finance creator. I won't name, but I can just give you a proxy. 150K plus Instagram followers. Pretty huge. I went to his house and we were just having a chat. Okay, what is the thing? And he tells me that he wants to do larger form movies. I'm like, okay, how is a finance creator placed in movies? And he was like, okay, I have this love for acting. And I'm like, did you start your content into finance for acting? And he was like, I think I like that particular part. But I'm like, okay, your brand perception will completely change.
Hmm.
And it was like, paise banane hai.
Hmm.
I just threw him a random idea that, okay, why? Obviously, there's exactly the same thing that happens to creators and celebrities, that you can't hold on to that fame for a longer time.
Yeah.
Face will die away, and hence you have to convert that face into a logo. Now
Right.
imagine Virat Kohli obviously being a face, but if Virat Kohli was a logo like a Manish Malhotra, then what happens? The game changes. Then Virat Kohli is the logo,
right,
where you don't have to be the face. There can be 5 different people, and there is a machinery that works on. And then how he has done it is with his investments. He has invested in a lot of lifestyle brands. He has invested in a lot of hardware brands, music brands, and everything. And that's the game that they are playing.
Right.
So this is the exact game that all of the content creators can do, because they have distribution. If you are sitting on a massive distribution and the only monetization you have is branded content and YouTube monetization, there's something big blunder that is happening. And the blunder is simple, that these people don't understand how business operates.
Right.
You can do a massive job on that. Some examples. Any finance creator who is sitting on a big distribution, again, getting a lot of branded deals and a lot of YouTube monetization happening, you can launch your own mutual fund calculator and ask for 100 rupees every time it suggests something. You can create multiple products around this and just start monetizing.
Yeah.
This is what exactly I have noticed when I talk to a lot of creators, that they can be founders for sure, but they still lack a lot of business and product building sense.
Yeah.
So every time a creator I see starting a business, and on a larger scale, not talking about physics wala, it's a separate example. They eventually start doing a content business. Either they're opening an agency or they are opening some or the other thing. It's the same.
The bias of content creation comes into the picture, even though the intention of starting a own entrepreneurial venture is there.
Correct. And that's the problem of that is it's a people business. The moment you get married, the moment you have kids, the moment you have other stuff to which takes away your time, this will decrease. You can't take vacation on your own because your YouTube channel will stay stagnant and you will keep on. Algorithm ko maine feed nahi kiya hai ki consistency is important, and that is the main problem. And hence, what I think is, yes, they should become founders, but you don't become the CEO. Get a CEO who understands business and get a product person. So that is the slight difference that I want to state. In the same example, physics wala, I have done enough research about him. It's what he's sitting on a massive distribution around education. It makes absolute sense for him to launch an edtech.
Correct.
But, I recently saw his Your Story podcast where he was a lot of times. If you see, if it's a 50-minute podcast, at least times he has talked about his CTO and he has given massive gratification that why he thinks his CTO was a game changer. He was like, "Hey boss, content banana aata tha. I'm a good teacher. I had no idea how to do business and everything. My CTO keeps me in check. लोगों को ये चाहिए, data ये बता रहा है, ये you just need that." Now, that's what the slight difference is.
Interesting. I think I could also recall a very similar example, although I don't want to talk scale about that. When you talk about beer biceps, right? So Ranveer Alabadia is a massive content creator in a country right now. His teammate who comes with the business skills on the table, right? Virat Sheth. I think that's one of the examples that I could think of where.
But they're still running an agency. There's still running an agency. Like for a long time, I had this thought that okay, if his brand is built on productivity, you already should be having 5 productivity tools. Out of which, why don't you have a calorie counter app yet? Why is Healthify Me owning that category? While you could have owned just a calorie counter app category, because you have the distribution already.
Right.
You can launch a meditation app.
Yeah.
You can launch just a sleep app because it stands for that, right?
Yeah. Right.
And this is where the difference come into place. I'll give you another example. Calm app, getting Jay Shetty on board and giving them a designation of Chief Purpose Officer is a great example of a strategic move of getting a creator into product business.
I agree. Quite a strategic move. When I saw Jay Shetty's face on Calm posters, like I think this was 5-6 months ago when we were talking. And I was like, that's quite a strategic move from Calm's end, where the Headspace would be struggling. So Headspace has his own. The founder is the own brand, right?
Right.
I think it's by the name of Andy. I think.
Right. Andy is a big name. Like everyone must have heard his voice. Anyone with this Headspace.
Yeah. But I think that's quite a strategic move from Calm.
True. Now, that's the main point. Now, a lot of creators will just say no. I'm pretty much sure in India, if brands start asking creators to join them, they will say no because they are on a full-time payroll, and they will say, okay, nahi, mera freedom chala gaya iske saath. While you can have a different kind of a contract closure. It's not like I'm pretty much sure brands are not that tight. Okay, they will ask a creator to come on board as an advisor or as a full-time employee and ask them 8 घंटे आके office में बैठो. They won't do that, obviously. But there are I am very optimistic that I think it's still in India, the whole creator economy is still 2-level business, which is branded content and YouTube monetization.
Right.
One level top notch is these content companies like Pocket Aces and TVF, where they go beyond notch and they start doing media syndication,
right?
IP sharing, and that kind of business. But still, I feel that there is a big product movement that will come pretty soon.
It's quite interesting. I think Kevin Kelly, who is an executive editor of Wire magazine, and I want to quote what he said. He said, anyone can live a successful life as a creator as long as they have 1,000 true fans. End quote.
So true.
So what's up with that statement, Sindhu? What do you think?
So this it has a lot of layers of philosophy and jokes inside the same sentence. I'll tell you some numbers. If you see 100K follower creator on Instagram, the average likes that someone gets, you will see is, let's say, 2,000 to 5,000.
Okay. Let's actually start it from the scratch, Sindhu. Let's break it down for people who are listening to this podcast. And it would be great if you can dig deep into numbers.
Sure.
Let's talk about small level of creators, which are nano creators, and then you have macro creators, and then you have another category, which is mega creators.
Right.
So what is the size of a nano creators? What is the size of a macro creators? And what is the size of a macro creators? And what is the monetization potential for each of these three categories?
So these let's just start from scratch. One is all of these terms are defined by agencies of influencers, nothing else, which basically means that more or less some agencies will have a different criteria, some agencies will have a different criteria. How does it help? It doesn't tell you that if you are a nano creator, that means you are a small creator. It basically helps the agency to pitch the brand that, okay, मेरे nano creators का group ये है, इनकी costing ये है. That's all. So how it starts, as far as I have seen, is anything below 50,000 is called to be a nano creator with majority of the agencies.
Got
and then your 50K to a 200 to a 300K is called to be a mega level creator. A small level creator. Some people I have heard calling it large creator, not a mega creator. Some people I have seen calling it mid scale creator. It just keeps on varying, and then everything changes 500 plus. Then there is a 10 million plus, but the 10 million plus is so small. Like in India, there is not a lot of 10 million plus, and hence a lot of those namings have not been. Now, irrespective of the naming. What makes sense? Let's talk about now. 5 years back, there was a big emphasis on agencies pitching to brands, saying कि okay, ये मेरे 3 buckets हैं, आप ये देख लो. Now, what matters is completely different. Now, no brand is asking for followers. People are asking for followers plus engagement rate, and latest engagement rate of 15 days to a last 30 days. That is one. Second is what are the number of comments and individual metrics, number of comments, number of shares, number of saves, gender ratio, city ratio, age ratio.
Right.
Now, this is what the level of data has come up to. Now, if you are a 100K creator with an engagement rate of 0.2%, I will not pay you a lot of money. Simple. I don't care about you have 100K followers. It doesn't make sense to me because I know that if I put out a post, it
Hmm.
won't reach to my target audience
Correct.
because it won't reach at all. You have less engagement rate.
Right.
Now, where do nano stand out is nano creators are the ones who have great following,
Hmm.
great engagement.
Hmm.
And the reason is simple. What happens is it's a basic mathematics game that when you start small,
Hmm.
people around your circle, you communicate with them, you talk to them, and hence they're
Right.
engaging with you.
Right.
When you keep on getting bigger and bigger, the time you don't have a lot of time to keep on engaging, and hence you start keeping, let's say, a manager or an agency to handle that,
Hmm.
and then your interaction with audience gets low,
Yeah.
and hence you don't get a lot of comments and shares and everything because you're not personally interacting
Hmm.
to. That is
Hmm.
one. Second,
Hmm.
once you keep on growing bigger, the reach keeps on expanding. So the reach,
Hmm.
the algorithm is trying to go to newer audiences.
Right.
Now, newer audiences might see your content but might not interact
Mm-hmm.
on that. Hence, your engagement keeps on going lower and lower when you keep on going higher and higher. So
Right.
so it depends on the brand deals, but generally the number works like this: that if you have anything beyond 200K, the money that you'll be charging is obviously high. Currently, the highest money is given on reels. The another highest money is given on stories because stories have swipe up links. Anything else does not have a swipe up link.
Right.
Swipe up link. So there are people who pitch for, I will just do one story. This is the cost. I will do story plus swipe up link, slightly extra cost because I'm adding your link.
Right.
And everything. Yeah, these are the major things. But here is what I think the creator economy is moving towards. There is a big brand manager shift that is happening where people are trying to understand data more. Now, what does that mean? That the new wave of brand managers who understand data are actually checking that if I do a collaboration with so and so creator, what is that exact metric I'm moving? And there comes into main place that are you a creator who posts viewable content or commentable content or shareable content? And this is where the main nuance happens. Now, filter copy posts shareable content. Those contents are relatable. They are designed to nudge you for shares. They are not designed for viewable. What is a viewable content? You putting out a post where you are posing in Bali, the viewable comment. What is that? And if you have more male audience, you will see people writing beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. That's all.
Yes.
Now, brand starts asking you, is that comment relevant for me? Now, imagine 20 pictures just about you, where everyone writes beautiful, a sexy pic and good looking and everything. Does not make sense to a brand.
Right.
Versus, let's say every pic of yours has a story. Let's say you're posing.
Right.
Let's say in your caption, you are writing a story. Or in your caption, you are writing your travel. Then the brand manager comes into place and then it's like, okay, this is not just a picture, it's the story.
Right.
And hence my brand fit can happen inside the story. मैं story के through मेरा brand narrate कर सकता हूँ. And this is where the main nuances of content creators needs to improve. कि okay, brand को मैं क्या बेच रहा हूँ?
Right. Let's call it as an integration, right? As in the language of agency, we call it like it's an integration. Yeah.
Correct. So this is what the majority of the things is. Now with time you keep on understanding कि okay, I do certain kind of posts and these are meant for integration. कि अच्छा यहाँ पे होगा integration.
Right.
Akshar Pathak style of posting is different. It's a storytelling format of text.
Yes.
Now any brand can do a subtle integration. Now imagine if there was no text or खाली pictures होते हैं. मैं कहाँ डालूँ? That is the reason when a brand does an integration, sometimes it fails. Why? Let's say Sindhu is just posting pictures about himself, where all of the pictures have blank space. पीछे.
Right.
I'm just wearing nice clothes and blank space पीछे. Then suddenly Monster drink or any drink comes to me and tells me कि okay मेरा brand चिपकाना है. So मैं क्या करता हूँ? मैं Monster drink पकड़ के हाथ में आगे कर लेता हूँ. Which is a complete standout. जो मैंने अभी तक नहीं किया था. And people are like, okay, what is this?
Right.
it is not a seamless integration.
Yeah. So, yeah, anything I think that is forceful. I think brands are not quite interested in that. And
it helps no one. It helps no one.
Yeah, it helps no one. I think both on a creator side of it and on the brand side of it as well. even the creators' audiences would also get to know that it's a forceful integration and they're trying to sell something, and that actually put them off from that creator.
And this is where the brand deals matter a lot. A good creator like the best creators are the most subtlest content here. Like for an example, and this is where the brand managers come into place. They say, okay, na, ye creator na bahut subtle integration karta hai. It doesn't feel like an ad. It feels like a content. That's why you're a content creator. Na. If your content integration is also feeling like an ad, then it doesn't make sense. Then I can do the same with the performance marketing.
Right.
And that's where the YouTube problem I see with a lot of creators, that they are talking about, let's say, education, then suddenly they stop. आज गेम खेलिए प्रेडिक्ट एंड विन ये बीच में that's just good writing needs to happen. It's just good writing, that's all.
Right. Interesting. I wanted to touch upon a bit on micro creators, let's call them amateur creators, people who doesn't know anything about how to create a content.
Right.
And they start to compare themselves with the journey of the creators that are already there or made it big in the creator economy space. They start to compare on the vanity metrics, right? The vanity metrics is not something that you can rely on, especially in the initial stage when you're starting building a content. So what do you think of this? Why micro creators and nano creators fall into the trap, and how they can actually overcome it? And what are some of the things that you should be totally avoiding, when they're starting creating a content?
Okay, some things that I have noticed, and one things are personal, and let's talk about some things that are business centric. Let's talk about the business centric first. I think it's okay to look up to a brand because you are in your early stage. The reason, let's be very honest, the reason you started becoming a creator is majorly for fame and less for money, because you can actually make more money by doing other stuff. That is big one. Second is, if you have decided for the fame, there is nothing wrong in that. But everyone replicates someone. So everyone has a role model, and they say, okay, mujhe iske aisa banna hai, and then you are trying to replicate, which in my way is still fine, because you're in the process of finding that original content creation kya hota hai, and in that process you are trying to copy someone, trying to get motivation and thoda more. That is that. Until that, it's fine.
And get your own charm to it.
Where it changes a lot is the problematic that happens a lot is this, that in product or in growth ecosystem, we say growth hacks versus growth loops. Growth hacks are those things that you can do it once and will not work the next time. Growth loops are those that will work every time, and you have to aim towards that.
Right.
What you want to build is something called as a growth loop, that every time you do, it works. And that is just good writing of the content. Now, what I mean by good writing, I'm not talking about writing the caption or something. Writing means sitting, thinking through the content bucket, the content style that you're talking about, and you are just owning that piece.
Right.
Let's say हफ्ते के 4 content आप copy करते हो someone, and then Saturday को you talk about something that is very personal to you, and it's just yours, where you're absolutely real and everything, and you're owning that piece. With time, you will see it will keep on increasing. That is one. Second is, and a lot of creators don't do that particular format, and what they end up doing is this, that they look at other feeds that, okay, everyone is dancing in a certain way. Hence, if I dance, that will work. For sure, it will work. And it works always. But everything works for a certain audience. The question is, do you want that audience?
Correct.
Who is the one who is gonna watch that dance?
What pie you are after?
Exactly. Are these those people who want to become a dancer? Then your dancing style and the costume selection style is very different.
Right.
Is it the one who are watching the dance not for the dance, for the glamour? Then you're getting a very different kind of an audience.
Right.
Then don't complain the type of comments you are getting, because then the only thing that you should be doing is change your content strategy. And then what happens is, the moment you change your content strategy, the number will drop. But आपको तो शेर के मुंह में तो लग गया है खून कि I'm used to 10,000 views by dancing a certain way.
Algorithm का खून.
And hence you keep on doing unless and until one fine day you are having a creative burnout and then say, okay, now Instagram is bad, and then leaving the platform. So you did not completely understand the whole gamut of creation, distribution.
Right.
And the major time spent should go into distribution, not the content creation.
Right.
Like just understand how the algorithm works, understand how copywriting works, understand how graphics work, understand how first 3-second hook works, how to write a good hook, do your competition analysis. And if you can actually do a competition analysis, let's say look at the role model and do the comment analysis. आप सिर्फ कमेंट्स पढ़ लो, आपको पता चल जाएगा कि अच्छा ये क्रिएटर ऐसे ऐसे करता है, तो इस पे इस टाइप के कमेंट मिलते हैं, डू आई वांट दैट? If the answer is yes, go ahead. If the answer is no, don't go ahead.
Right.
And then you are actually influencing. So the question is, are you influencing for the likes or are you influencing for the lives? I'm most influencing. I'm most interested in influencing lives. Financial creators did much better. I mean, they did a lot of worse things also. Did much better than a lot of dance creators.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about India dance creators. Now, unke following they teach hooks and everything.
Right.
I'm talking about random dances that comes in on your face to launch your reels.
Yeah, the whole TikTok revolution.
The whole TikTok revolution and everything. That's what. But I think there is a good thing that has happened in the smaller towns. Just remove the tier 1 towns, but smaller towns का क्या हुआ है? India is a very camera shy country. Like a damn camera shy country. Like मुझे podcast में चालू करके camera on करके just to say yes took me. If you would have asked me when I was 20, then I would have said no. The current 20s are like telling yes to everything, and they are like next level stuff. The good thing that
because let's face it, Sindhu, it's not easy to stare at a blank screen and start saying something, right? It's like it almost feels like you're an alien and you're speaking to yourself and nobody's there to listen.
Correct.
Right. But I think a lot of content creators has hacked their way through content creation just because they consistently done this over the period of time, even though they felt uncomfortable in the initial phases. I think, but yeah.
True. But I love the fact what is happening in the smaller towns. Like I love the smaller India coming up, massive traction happening, facing they just don't care about who says what. They are facing the camera. एक अलग टाइप का कंटेंट, अलग टाइप का राइटिंग, अलग टाइप का स्टाइल निकल के आ रहा है, and that's very interesting for me.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree. Like we're speaking about the Bharat, and the creators from the Bharat has a totally different view. And the whole thing is the entire ecosystem is supporting it, right? India never had an access to a great internet before. And now you have a great access to internet and cheaper internet, right? And the cheaper internet, right? So I think that entire ecosystem has established a very, strong foundations of helping building this creator economy that we are seing in India today. And I
got an interesting insight some day back. I went to a marketing meetup and we were discussing, and then one person told me a very interesting fact, that how the two India behaves in correlation with electricity, how the two content creation India behaves. And I will just quote the same exact thing, and it just blew my mind, that because I come from the same city, जिसके power cut दिन में होते थे 3 घंटे, अभी भी होते हैं.
Quite natural.
Quite natural. And the thing is this, that the content creators in tier 1 look for electricity because they want more lights and everything.
Yeah.
Hence they have the privilege, because हमें light चाहिए, शक्ल पे आएगा, glow करेगा तो ज़्यादा attraction मिलेगा and everything.
Right.
So yeah, like some days back, I went to a marketing meetup, and then वहाँ पे हम लोग बात कर रहे थे about specifically I was trying to learn more about YouTube में क्या चल रहा है. It was organized by Google, and the Google's team was sharing very interesting facts around what is the YouTube traction that is happening in the rural areas and everything, and that is damn mind blowing. So someone told me an interesting fact that how does two content creators in two different areas behave. So in tier 1, you look for good lights, you have your accessories and everything, ringlets and everything.
Right.
And the one is because you don't think कि ring light लगाऊंगा तो electricity bill बढ़ेगा. That is quite fascinating कि वो दिमाग में आया नहीं है, ठीक है. But आप same चीज करो घर में, आपके पापा आपको बोले कि अरे बिजली का बिल बढ़ रहा है, ठीक है. The rural India does not have the access and the power cuts keep on happening.
Right.
Hence, every time the power cut happens, the rural India switches on the Wi-Fi, sorry, the phone network, because they don't have access to Wi-Fi. They go out to shoot. The metro India go in to shoot. That is the reason there is the majority of the rural shots you will see is happening on roads.
Oh yes, yeah.
ठीक है. And
that's quite an insight. I mean,
कि ये बाहर इसलिए नहीं हो रहा because they like the road. ये बाहर इसलिए हो रहा है because the electricity cut has happened. घर में बैठ के क्या करेंगे, 4 घंटे बाद लाइट आएगा, चलो बाहर करके चलो शूट ही कर लेते हैं.
Right.
And then the power cuts are community power cuts. वो एरिया में पूरा power cut हो जाता है. That's 4 people come together and then they try to shoot. That's the major insight that happens, that okay, here you are dealing with a generation of Wi-Fi creators. That is your generation. We are creating on the network cellular phone creators pura ka pura.
Right.
And the model is very different.
Yeah.
And hence, if a person sitting here has to make a content, I will not upload content in 1080p or 4K. I have to upload in 720p ताकि वो stream तो कर सके.
Right.
नहीं तो that drop will keep on happening.
Yeah. That's a huge difference and a huge massive shift. Like,
correct. So these are very small insights. Why I told you that you need to have a distribution sense as a creator कि आप इसके लिए बना रहे हो, and then just go to ground level to understand कि वो इंसान दिन में क्या करता है and how do you deal with that.
Right. Yeah. I think that's quite a great insight, and thank you for sharing that. Nobody would think it like that, right? Like why tier 3 content creators are creating content outdoors and not indoors.
Right.
I mean, they would have an assumptions, but the assumptions are not fact based. So but that's quite an insight. Sindhu, let's talk a bit about Web3 and the content creator economy space. What's happening there? The NFTs, creator launching their tokens on platforms like BitCloud. We have seen a lot of content creators from India launching their just like a company launches an IPO, they're launching their own NFTs at BitCloud. So what's happening there, and what is the opportunity for content creators from India there?
I have been trying to track this space for quite a long time, talking to a lot of people. Let me put up what I have observed, and this is just very personal observation. So if anyone wants to hate me, they can, because this is what I have observed. It's on you, not on me. The only thing I see is a lot of parties happening. That is the one thing that I keep on seeing. And sometimes I'm like, if every time these people are partying, then kaam kab ho raha hai? In Bangalore, every week you will see 3 Web3 parties that is happening. Pata nahi kya chal raha hai, theek hai?
Yeah.
That is one. Second,
these are meetups, these are catch-ups of Web3 community.
Correct. And there are very few people who are actually trying to build something which is actually a problem solving. बाकी सब तो पूरा फैड का पूरा नौटंकी चल रहा है, मुझे दिखने को आ रहा है. I think we are still a long way to catch up, because this is what the problem is. What I genuinely feel, the average age of people in the Web3 and the NFT space is very very early 20s. Okay. जिसको पता नहीं कि वर्ल्ड में प्रॉब्लम क्या है.
Yeah.
Hence the problem solving of the problem solver is very very personal based, and that may not be applicable for a lot of people.
Right.
That is exactly the problem that Web2 used to face when Web2 जब चालू हुआ था, कि सारे founders खुद problem बना के कुछ ना कुछ बना रहे थे बैठ के, and then nothing worked.
Yeah.
And hence everyone started, this revolution came that okay, you have to do data research करो, research करने के बाद problem निकालो, MBBS बनाओ, ये करो. I don't see anything major coming up apart from token based ecosystem, Solana based ecosystems happening and everything. But और कुछ नहीं दिख रहा है, except I think India will soon crack gaming ecosystem in Web3. काफी जल्दी crack कर लेगा वो वाला चीज.
Right. It is already happening. It is already happening. I doubt about the adoption, because for something to flourish, you have to have a massive adoption. Like Bitcoin flourished because of massive adoption. नहीं तो आपके coin का value तो कुछ नहीं है. It depends on the adoption. पूरा का पूरा. Yeah.
NFTs so NFTs are not a new thing. So I look at NFTs like this, that किसी को भी अगर म्यूजिक लाइसेंसिंग एंड आईपीएस कैसे काम करते हैं अगर पता है, तो उनको ये पता चलेगा कि म्यूजिक में रॉयल्टीज होते हैं. For KK sings one song, that song is owned by T Series.
Yeah.
Now let's give it an analogy that वो cassette is an NFT of KK's that particular song,
right,
which is owned by T Series. Now T Series वो cassette किसी को भी दे सकता है on a license and say कि मुझे monthly वो rental दे दो.
Correct.
Are somewhat like that in the similar analogy. So it's not a newer concept as a world changing. It's a damn sure newer concept that people are able to hold fraction of things of a certain thing which they think is precious, or you can hold the full thing. But how the commerce happens there, how the business happens there, still needed to figure out. I have my small doubts which I keep on asking all of the NFT collectors and Web3 people, which have still not got the answer. Is that as human beings, we hold memories, and we will pay for memories for sure. If I give you a hardware copy of a photo of your dad versus if I give you a soft copy of a photo of your dad, it's a no-brainer that you will be ready to pay me more for the hardware. So the price and the commerce is in the hardware, not the software. That is one.
Right.
And it goes on everything, like owning a hardware, owning a bobblehead of Iron Man. That is the first collectible thing versus a picture of that. Obviously, that will have the more business value on that account.
Right.
What soft copy will do is soft copy will decrease the price, and hence maybe there is a massive adoption because people have a lot of money and then everyone can own it and every stuff.
Right.
But see, as human beings, we have this nature that when we have a collectible, we put it on our drawing table and log entry karte hain. There's a reason that entry karte hain. Aap sare collectible wahi rakhte.
Right. Yeah.
That is the reason you collect. You collect to show off.
To show off, absolutely.
To show off that I collect. I'm a collector.
We love echo chambers, right? Like
Exactly.
we love it. Somebody also should tell us that they also love it. So,
correct. I don't know NFT collectors kahan rakhenge isko. That is what I'm not able to figure out yet. As a human psyche, that for something to be massive, a larger human psyche works on personal touch, hardware, show off, ghar mein rakhna, virtue signaling, real world ka, not the online world ka.
Yeah.
I don't know ye kahan show off hai. Yes, I have got this argument that ye show off metaverse mein hoga, but my point is very, very simple. That metaverse is a very personal thing.
Yeah.
It's not a nuclear family thing that aapke ghar mein you, your wife and your everyone will go into the metaverse.
Yeah.
So metaverse only works that until and unless you are a bachelor.
Correct.
That's all. मतलब उसके बाद के आपकी बीवी आपको गाली देगी if you're going into your majority of the time is going into
into the metaverse, spending half of your time of the day in metaverse.
So I don't get this commerce and business part yet.
Right. Got it. I like how things are evolving into Web3 space, particularly in the creator economy. I'm not very much bullish about the entire Bitcoin and token system, but yes, specifically when it comes to creator economy, it's very interesting. We all like to play status games. That's what we as a humans are. So
True.
just what you were talking about, showing off as your collectibles, which were as a physical collectibles, you want to show it off, when somebody, people around you basically. But in the digital verse or a metaverse, how are you going to show that off? I think you're going to show that off by putting it on your social handles, by going to put it on your...
Correct.
You want to tell people that I own a piece of Elon Musk or I own a piece of Naval Ravikant.
Right.
People like that.
No, and that is the only use case that I'm able to figure out. The only point is for that to be huge, a lot of people need to go into metaverse, which I'm slightly doubtful when we talk about India.
Right.
The Indian massive, India works like this. The majority of people who are still using Geo are still in the rural towns.
Right.
Are they gonna use a headset? Ask yourself. Not really. You need to normalize television first for headset need to kick in.
Right.
Why boat is huge in India? Because boat is way cheaper, good quality.
Absolutely. Yes.
Unless the headsets go at 5,000, 6,000.
Correct.
Right now it's what, 20,000, 30,000?
33,000
Right,
in
right.
India. Yeah.
And that price is not going to be paid by this. And what will 10,000 people hanging in a metaverse? What will they do? It's like
Yeah.
it's like weird. So it needs to
Yeah.
have a massive adoption.
Right.
Only if your virtue signaling is global, then it's a different game altogether. ठीक है?
Right.
You want to show off to a US, but then
Yes.
क्या ही फर्क पड़ता है? क्या करना है उसके साथ? तो I need to still see a lot of network effects kicking in. That's why I'm not
Right.
much bullish yet.
Yeah. No, definitely. In order for these headsets to become a common product as smartphones, right? I mean, we would be turning into cyborgs altogether. 100%. We are still cyborgs, right? Like we are like having a phone in your hand and using it as an extension of your own being. You are 50% cyborg in a
Which
way.
I still don't get. These are the same people who talk about mindfulness and meditation in the same go in a different podcast. Like how does a metaverse and mindfulness, okay, walk on the street and look at the trees and then walk inside a metaverse and look at the flags and everything works together. I don't know this.
Yeah. So the real I don't know from my own subjective experience, but just an objective observation. A lot of people who are talking about metaverse and companies like Meta, who is actually promoting and who is a market leader in the, and I would say the only company who is doing anything in the metaverse space right now is Meta. How they are promoting the real life use cases that it helps reduces certain kind of your traumas or your phobias. Let's say if you have a dog phobia, or let's say you have phobia of falling from a high top mountain, right? It can help you with that, because what it does is that it gives you a 360 degree, like as soon as you wear a headset, it gives you a 360 degree perspective and experience of, you are still sitting at your chair and you can still feel, safe while you can have that experience. So the way it plays with your psychology is beautiful. And I've seen some studies around that, which also Meta has conducted. I don't know how much that is, going to be applicable in our day-to-day life, because that's a very tricky question, because you cannot just wear a headset around and keep moving around in your day, because that almost seems very impossible as of now, I think.
In real life is different than what is inside your head. I'm pretty sure, because even if you put a blindfold, just the gust of wind that comes will scare the shit out of you.
Oh yes.
I don't know how is it equal on that front.
Yeah.
They can claim a ton of things to make it normal. The mental health solve karenge, ye karenge, wo karenge.
So they started with those. They started with those use cases.
Psychology movement, which will try to already it has started. There are a lot of psychologists and therapists who are saying, "Bhai, isse to dur raho." It actually. So what it does is basically this, that your real world and ye ka switch on and off. If you keep on doing in one day, there is a problem that might happen in the longer time.
Right. Yeah, I think most people are actually not talking about that. I mean, the way human psyche really works is the moment that you see anything cool coming out as a product in the market, you just want to jump and buy it or subscribe to it.
For that to happen, someone needs to use this for a longer time.
Yes.
And then screw the head.
Yeah.
And then there is a headline that comes up on the news.
Yeah.
And there is a lot of therapists who try to do a research on that particular man. Then it will happen.
Right. I think that's what also happened with the whole psychedelics movement in 1800 as well, when things gone really bad and people have started consuming psychedelics in a way that it shouldn't be. And now it is coming back again from a medical research point of view, that there is something called psychedelic psychotherapy, which a lot of organizations based out in US and couple of medical schools in US are researching on this. MAPS is also one of those organizations who talks about how psychedelics can actually help you get rid of all of your traumas, whether that be a trauma.
What's the organization called? MAPS.
It's called MAPS. Yeah, but yeah, they've been doing pretty good work, and they've been also trying to include this therapy, this particular kind of therapy, into traditional therapy.
Got it.
Great. So I would love to you to talk about. And before that, I think I read this quote from Mark Edrison from A16Z, is one of the growing VC firm in US. He's talking about the creator economy as the third wave of the internet.
Right.
He said in the first wave, no one made or spent money on the internet.
Right.
Online, the second wave where online services made money through revenue, and the third wave where subscribers and creators will be directly connected,
Right.
allowing creators to directly profit from it. And now we are seeing a lot of Indian startups in the content creator, and not just Indian startups across the world landscape, starting, where they just want to reduce the friction of this platforms, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, because they don't share enough ad revenue with creators.
Right.
So where do you think this is going?
Like, obviously there's a lot of visible trends. Okay, let's talk about trends. What has been happening since the last 2 years? Facebook has launched monetization. One. IG has not launched monetization. I don't know why. Why it is not in a massive scale. There is a talk. I mean, we keep on going to IG meetups and everything, and it's a long time discussion. I'm hearing since last 6 months that okay, the reels will be monetized. They will start that particular part. But again, people who are big, they have done somewhat around 100 million views yet. You could have got massive money already. They have not launched yet. I don't know. YouTube is launching the monetization first. YouTube is great at monetization. Everyone knows the dashboard is great. The automation is great. And Google ecosystem has been monetization friendly since day one. There was Google AdSense since a long time for blog writers and everything. So I see Google ecosystem as the OG for monetizing creators. They understand that particular part. Also, the algorithm is very, very dynamic. There is AdMob, there is AdSense, and there is your YouTube ad monetization. While your Facebook is late, or the Meta, whatever you call currently, is late in the game, and they are just trying to catch it up. Brand monetization has increased year on year. We have seen spends that brands allocate to this particular part has been increased. There's a lot of IP creations that has happened since last few years. Best example, TVF Quota Factory by Unacademy. Beautiful example where you take a creator and then just make a big IP web series and just go on the property. I don't know who owns that IP. Is it with the TVF or the Unacademy? But still, it's a great creative here. I think it will keep on happening. I think a brand will sponsor, let's say, a Hush Bengal and say, okay, let's go create an IP. I would love to see a brand creating an IP and going into OTT. It happens already. Like Quota Factory is syndicated on Netflix, I guess. It's on Netflix, I guess.
Yeah. It's on Netflix, yeah.
Correct. So either it's a co-owned IP or the IP is sold to Netflix. Now, big major money making revenue, big major what do you say viewership models. And so this new kind of IP creation, syndications, media sold off, IP sell-offs will keep on increasing year on year. That is for sure. But what is more interesting is the larger wave of smaller town people coming. YouTube is bullish on that. Now, the major brand spends till this date goes to tier 1 cities, the metro cities. The monetization for someone who lives in Bihar, Darbhanga, smaller town and creates and 1 million follower will not get a lot of brand deals. Now, YouTube is trying to solve that. I'm very, very sure that this wave will force these big companies to try to solve for the smaller towns. A housewife running a food channel should get more brand deals because that is where the major brand outreach that has not happened. It's easy to reach out to a Mumbaiker now. It is hard to reach out to a person living in Orissa or Jharkhand, let's say. Because वहाँ पे content करने का कोई मतलब ज़्यादा मौका ही नहीं है वहाँ पे. And the only thing you keep on doing is performance marketing. So what I see the next wave that is happening is the media spends on performance marketing going slightly low. Or I mean, it will keep on increasing. But the proportionate income of the creator economy will keep on increasing. That is that one. The ecosystem also has pushed a lot of companies to build SaaS-based products. B2B SaaS tools for creator to solve one part. Some is
Right.
some people are solving the community part. Okay, you have a YouTube channel, take that YouTube channel, create a community, and try to do something around it.
Right.
Some people are giving edtech solutions.
Hmm.
You have a YouTube channel, we are
Hmm.
giving you full stack teachable kind of a model.
Right.
आप अपने users को यहाँ पे लेके आओ, उसको monetize करो.
Right.
So there is still not a larger company that has come up yet, a big SaaS product that is that. And the major reason is the intent of the creator to move the audience and to do that extra work.
Yeah.
And to have that business sense is less.
Yeah.
And the only thing is either they don't understand how the business works, or the only thing is they are like, okay, ये मेरा तो audience है, मैं इसको क्यों दूँ? Simple सी
Right.
बात.
Correct.
I think that will change, but I'm still not a lot of bullish. There will be a larger unicorn that will come who is just a B2B creator ecosystem SaaS. But there will be a larger unicorn that can come with an agency model. Like we have the best example of Pepper Content.
Yeah.
Now Pepper Content will keep on being large because they are playing because the creator ecosystem is a people's game. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
It's very hard to automate that. I guess it won't be automated. A lot of people tried automating. Like I guess One Impression is one company who is trying to automate the whole deals part.
Yeah.
But the real use case is different. A brand manager is hiring an agency क्योंकि उसको टेंशन नहीं लेना है. They were like, okay, मेरे पास 10 लाख है, 10 लाख में मुझे बोलो क्या करके दोगे. Don't give me head. If I have to go to the tool again, start sorting out things,
then it doesn't make a lot of sense for a brand.
Make a lot of sense. So there will be a lot of twists and turns. People will keep on experimenting, but the next 5 years में ये वाला movement तो पक्का आएगा. We have seen this movement of the vertical video formats. There is Garimoj. Everyone is winning particular part. That is why the A6Z is very bullish on Creatoreconomy, but in a different sense. They are putting on product based Clubhouse, Pedala, Substack Pedala.
And even Signal Fire for that matter. I think Signal Fire as well.
Correct. But I still feel someone will build a great product. Some creator will build a great product which will kill it. I still am bullish on that part.
Yeah, I think it is already happening up to some level. If we look at NAS Academy or Physics Wala we were talking about, these guys are already making great products, right? I think the product overwise is very great. What Physics Wala has made or NAS Academy has made.
Even Unacademy is a creator converted company. They were a YouTube channel first, if I'm not wrong.
Right.
They have the distribution sorted already.
Right. Great. Tell us, Sindhu, about how can creators use their distribution. And I know we have talked up to a certain level and degree on that, but for the listeners and watchers who are watching this right now, tell us how can creators use their distribution to build massive businesses?
So it's a larger topic. Let me try to simplify. It's a very big discussion together, but let me try to make it simple. That first is YouTube is not equal to Instagram, not equal to LinkedIn, not equal to TikTok, not equal to anything. One, let me demystify some facts. Second, what you do on social media is distribution. That is not community. So if you have 100K followers, don't call it a community. Because if you reach out to them, because it won't take one day for at least 70K people to just start following another person and you will be forgotten. Simple. And that is the reality. So that is not a community, and hence you need to have a community inside a place. It could be either a Discord, it could be either a Slack, it could be either WhatsApp, Telegram, whatever it is. You need to have that.
Right.
Which means you need to sit and chalk out a plan of how your distribution layer social media is driving community models. Is it one community? Is it multiple communities which are micro? What are the community rewards? What are the community engagement programs? Who are the moderators? Who are the rewarders?
Right.
You need to have that process. This is strategic skill. You need to have this strategic skill. That is second. Third, content creation is not equal to social media or social media management.
Dig deep into that.
Like this is the statement I have. I keep on shouting to all the social media managers in my team here, previous companies and everything. What happens is this: the moment you go into content creation, the only thing you do is content production and uploading. Done.
Yeah.
Content comments management, taking the comments and commenting on another person's
Right.
handle, having a banter with a brand, having a calendar in place which has a banter in the brand, reaching out to brands and asking कि okay साथ में मिलके एक AR filter बनाते हैं, having the thought कि okay I will create AR filters also.
Right.
I still feel why a lot of creators are not building AR filters. I don't know.
Yeah.
But AR filters are massive. Like I work at Better Half. Better Half's 5 AR filters has 1 billion impressions, and at least 10 AR filters has more than aram se 500k plus impressions.
Really?
Yeah. So the total and that's why we are starting to monetize now. We are starting to reach out to brands and say, okay, AR filters are the only place where the user is engaged to the brand, reading the brand name for a longer time.
Right.
One. And it is the only place where you can create brand advocates because the person is creating a content out of it.
Yeah.
Why have you not focused on it yet?
Yeah. That actually brings me to that, Better Half recently crossed 100k followers on Instagram. So congratulations for that, for leading that growth up to that scale.
It's a team we decided 6 months back that we will have a complete in-house media production content team. So everything is in-house. We have some killer content writers जो shoot करते हैं, edit करते हैं, and everything. But in our growth story also, the major factor was AR filter. Now this is a very different perspective of thinking towards कि content डाल देंगे रोज 3 reel डाल देंगे सो जाएंगे उसके बाद खत्म.
Right.
And that's why I said it's a larger gamut. What is your story? What is your story strategy? Are you reading data to understand that okay, your engagement rate is falling? If your engagement rate is falling, you don't need to upload a lot of content. Yeah. Because there could be 2 reasons your engagement rate is falling. Either you're uploading way too much content that people are like, "Yaar, फिर से आ गई, या फिर से आ गई." Or your content is not being pushed because you have not created a community. It's just every time you push your content, it's just reaching to a different audience altogether.
Right, a random audience
altogether. So if how do you take your existing followers and try to talk to them? Have a story strategy. Stories are extremely important. Now what a lot of creators do is they just put random stories, like super duper random. अब मैं सुबह खा रही हूँ, मैं बैठ के डाल दिया खा रही हूँ.
Yeah. See a lot of YouTubers doing that.
Exactly. So there is nothing in it for me to watch you eating, right?
Yeah.
unless you tell me कि okay, I know okay ये creator हर Saturday जाके coffee पीता है, and one Friday you say कि okay if you're a coffee lover, tell me this quiz. I will send you something.
Right.
That's where the relationship happens. Or organize a coffee meetup.
Correct.
By yourself. If you keep on posting around stories around that.
Yeah.
Keep on asking people something. Okay, I have tried this coffee. Can you please suggest me 2 more names?
Yeah. So basically do it in your own authentic way, but have a value add to it, right? A value add is an important factor there.
Correct. That's why I told you the content creation is just one puzzle. There is a larger puzzle where the major puzzle I believe is partnerships and collaborations. Partnerships is very undervalued.
Yeah.
In the creator ecosystem, and I'm not talking about just creator partnerships.
Yeah.
I'm talking about larger partnerships, like reach out if host
brands banter.
Exactly, brands banter. You can host your own meetups. Why don't you host your own meetups? I mean, obviously, don't do a larger meetup.
Right.
But you can run a contest, and then whoever is the winner, just organize 100 people meetup.
Yeah.
200 people meetup and everything. So these are marketing. This is marketing, not content creation.
Absolutely.
And it needs to work hand in hand.
Yeah, building a community is very important, and I don't know why I'll keep speaking about NAS Academy, and I think that's why they're doing it very beautifully. If you know, the founder came to India, Bangalore recently.
Right. The recently organized.
Recently. So I was in touch with somebody from the team, and I was speaking about what's happening into your Web3. So they've been launching this subscription-based service for Web3 community. So recently launched it, and we also sort of trying to get them on board for free.
Oh, nice.
So there was a natural synergy there. So he was speaking about how everything that we do at NAS Academy is all about community creation and nothing else. The core value and the principle that we stand on, and everything that we do on day-to-day basis align with community creation.
And
Right.
that's what the goal of the founder, as well as how it is, reached to a top-down level, is beautifully.
Right. Correct. True. And everyone has their own way. Like Tanmay
Hmm.
Bhatt has a Discord channel way.
Yeah.
And people have their own way. You can run a community on product management,
Right.
and a community, you put YouTube videos, convert that community into a Slack community. It's absolutely fine. So it
Yeah.
depends on your strategy. It's up to you.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think this brings to the end of the show, and before we close, let's play a bit of a rapid fire. You ready?
Sure. Rapid fire are very, and every time I fail in rapid fire, like every time.
Cool. Let's start in 3, 2, 1. Okay. Work or play? You have to answer quickly because it's rapid fire.
Okay,
Work or play?
that's easy. I think work.
So
I do a lot of work that sounds like play. That's why. Like there is no play for me.
Your work seems like play to you.
There is a lot of
It
other
feels
things I
like-
do apart from the 9 to 5 job. That is play.
Got it. Hyper growth or profitability?
That's a good one. I am trained for hyper growth.
Hmm.
I'm still in the zone to find profitability.
Is it because you're a marketer?
No, because last 5 years, wherever I have worked, that
Hmm.
was in the hyper growth phase. The profitability zone is right now.
Hmm.
Hence, I would be very honest. I'm 30% lacking in that sense of making marketing profitable. So I'm learning that.
Got it. Sweet. Money or happiness?
Happiness,
Money or fame?
money,
Why money? From fame.
no. Money will give me happiness for sure. I would optimize for that. Fame gives extra attention, and a lot of people put eye on the money. वो नहीं चाहिए मेरे को.
Interesting. Very interesting. Okay. So if you were to start your own venture startup, what would you solve for and optimize for?
This is interesting. I have thought about it a lot. If I would ever start, I think it is going to be around entertainment. It is either going to be around music or productivity. And when I say productivity, it's a better version of Calm and Headspace app. If you would have asked me the same question 2 years back, I would have said music. Music, I think next level of recommendation building of music, जो मुझे लगता है has to come from emotions and mood based machine learning recommendation systems.
Right. Yeah.
Like can I open the app and it asks you how are you feeling now, and then accordingly it just shows you okay, these are the top releases that has happened. Okay, Arijit Singh ये वो क्योंकि क्या होता क्या है ना, the moment you open it,
yeah, problem of plenty.
In the morning you might be fresh, you saw Arijit Singh, आपने क्लिक किया Arijit Singh को and गाना सुन के आप थोड़ा डिप्रेस हो गए. तो मेरे को उल्टा चाहिए. मेरे को अरिजीत सिंह दिखाओ नहीं ना मॉर्निंग में. आई नो फॉर अ फैक्ट कि मैं सुन के मेरा दिमाग खराब होगा. तो दैट इज. बट इफ यू आस्क मी राइट नाउ सिंस लास्ट वन, I think something around a meditation app, something around not exactly meditation, but what do you call it? What is the whole space that you call it? Like what is Calm called as a space?
Headspace?
नहीं, Headspace को क्या बोलोगे आप? मतलब which kind of app it is? Meditation को
It's a meditation app. It's a meditation app.
It's just a meditation app. तो
Yeah. Do you also meditate yourself?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Headspace, I use Headspace now. I started using Meritopia as first. I started with Meritopia.
Meritopia is great.
Meritopia. I love Meritopia. UI UX is great. I stopped Meritopia, started doing by myself for some 4 to 5 months. Then एक अंदर से चुल मची कि okay, why everyone is talking about Headspace? Let's start Headspace.
Yeah.
And I'm using Headspace.
The beautiful thing about, so I started my meditation practice back in 2017 and I started through Headspace only. And the beautiful thing about the app is that it guides you in a very, I mean, the entire teaching of Andy, who is also a Buddhist monk, before he started Headspace, is very secular and it's very practical, right? It has no dogmatic, not even Buddhism, dogmatic religious beliefs.
I think most of the US apps, Meritopia, Calm, Headspace are very single religion central. They are not.
Right. Yeah.
I think it's great how these meditation apps, although I had a take, and I still very much bullish on that take, that when you can listen to meditation on a YouTube, why would somebody pay for a meditation app? Like
Right.
that has been a question that
It's
I've
for
been struggling with.
curation. It's for
Hmm.
curation.
Hmm.
YouTube, you have to go discover it yourself. Meditation app charges you a frontal fee for a curation model. That's all.
Right.
On YouTube also, you have to pay, by the way. You
Yeah.
have to pay a premium,
Yeah.
the YouTube premium, so that you can
Hmm.
listen.
Yeah.
So the cost is actually the same. Yeah. The cost is
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah. How long you've been doing meditation, Sindhu?
I started in the early COVID actually.
Hmm.
Regular wala
Hmm.
is 2020 end around. Yeah.
Got it. I know a lot of people who have been meditating in my circle, and whenever I speak to them, including myself, so I used meditation apps for quite a while. I would say about one and a half year, and then I stopped using meditation app because after a point you think that
You have to do it yourself.
you have to do it yourself because that's effective
Correct.
when you do it yourself. It's
Correct.
just like you don't then want to keep on hearing the
Correct.
the guided meditation over and over because your mind would distract with a voice. Sometimes it would distract in the initial few phases when you need that push start, when you need that kickstart. I think that is a time when it is important, but after a while when you have reached to that level, reached to that point, then I think you can start meditating on your own.
Naval, if you have heard this Naval Jorogan podcast where he talks about meditation, and I remember he tells this, that I know people start by doing guided and then go to self because the journey is this. And if the journey takes me 10 years,
right.
Why I believe in directly jump karo. It is going to be painful, but I know it will be in 6 years.
Yeah.
Then मैं तो सीधा, I hate guided meditation. सीधा करो. It will be painful, more painful than the other one. But let me handle that pain because it will give more benefits after that.
Exactly. That's where the entire efficacy comes from. Like, and definitely like a self meditation, just observing your breath versus you doing a guided meditation, it's a whole different thing altogether.
Correct.
Great conversation, Sindhu. Thank you so much for your time and coming to the podcast. We'll do this sometime again.
No, sure. I enjoyed this, so we should do this. I like the conversation and the questions actually. These are rare questions which I have not talked about yet, but I had a great time actually. Sure.
So signing off. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.